Hi, I'm Megan McDonald, and I'm a freshman here at Clemson University, and this video is my Library 100 assignment discussing my experience in a session called New Student Dialogue. The New Student Dialogue I attended was called Assuming the Unassumable, a Dialogue on Internationality, which is basically a discussion of people's preconceived notions of different cultures and countries and the basic stereotypes people held about other people. It asked me to answer a few questions, and here they are. Do you feel your group achieved true dialogue? Why or why not? My session was at 9 o'clock in the morning, which apparently is pretty early for college kids because everyone was either zoning out or falling asleep or not really paying attention. But then my facilitator threatened us, saying that we were going to be there for the full 2 hours no matter what, whether we sat in silence or not. And most people weren't really a fan of sitting there for 2 hours in silence, so that really motivated the group to start responding to her prompts and participating. But I don't think in general we really achieved true dialogue. We kind of got close, but it was mostly a few members speaking up and everyone else just kind of listening. So it asked me, were there active voices in your dialogue? Please explain. There were a group of girls that had definitely signed up for the same dialogue on purpose and were friends before, and they were very active because they had the support system of knowing people in the group, where the rest of us were mostly surrounded by complete strangers. And so, were there reserved voices in your dialogue? Please explain. Uh, a lot of people, like I said before, were falling asleep, zoning out, and they were really not participating. And the rest of them were either reserved because maybe their ideas had already been said, or um, they were too shy to speak up in a room of strangers. So the most active participants were those girls that came in together. What role did I play in my group and why? I was not a fan of having to sit there for 2 hours in complete silence. So I was one of the first people to start talking and kind of motivated the group to keep going. And other than that, I kind of just spoke up in times of silence to keep the dialogue moving along. And I also kind of played devil's advocate because most people were disagreeing with each other, and I thought it was important in a dialogue to be exposed to different ideas and different views. It asked me, why do you think dialogue is a component of Library 100, and do you see dialogue as a useful tool in your university experience? I think it's a part of Library 100 because it's a way to expose kids to a new manner of talking to people and learning new ideas, whereas an argument or a debate, people mostly are holding their own views really tightly and being argumentative and attacking other people, and other people feel vulnerable. Where in a dialogue, people are sharing their ideas and learning from each other. In the university experience as a whole, I think it's really useful because we're in a completely different setting, surrounded by different cultures and different things that we've never been exposed to before. So, especially me coming from the north, being in South Carolina, I think a dialogue is a useful way for me to share my personal opinions with people without feeling judged or being argumentative. Especially like meeting new friends, meeting new people from South Carolina. We discuss the differences between the North and the South. I think we do it in dialogue fashion rather than a debate. It's not your way is better than my way. It's just, oh, we do things differently up north, you do things differently down south. So I think being in the university experience, learning from others is super important. So a dialogue is a useful way to achieve that without anyone getting their feelings hurt. Any additional things or observations? One of the activities we did in the dialogue was we got paired off with random people, and we were supposed to say three things that we assumed about them without ever hearing them say anything or talk or anything. And I thought that was really eye-opening, that people were judging you before you even spoke to them based on what you look like, what you're wearing, what you have with you. So that was a really useful activity, and I think it opened a lot of people's ideas that first impressions are super important, and people are judging you at all times, which is kind of depressing, but I think it was a useful thing. Another thing that we did was they put up posters with different continents, like U.S., South America, Europe, and Middle East, and I think that was it. And we went around and wrote down what we assumed about the people that come from there based on the culture in general. And A lot of people put down a lot of stereotypes, which is kind of disappointing, but it also provided some comic relief when people were saying that Asians were bad drivers and super smart, and Americans were obese and stubborn, and Europeans were stylish and good looking. I thought that was kind of funny. Um, Other than that, I think the dialogue was a good way to expose us to different ideas and see what people think about you in general. And this video has been my Library 100 assignment discussing my experience in my new student dialogue.